Are you good with your bonus actions?
Want to get better?
I'm Ben.
I'm Max.
And this is D&D Ideas. Sometimes we talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Sometimes we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and life.
Either way, we always talk about ideas.
If you're in the mood for something a little different than the D&D videos you're used to, you made it.
Today's D&D Ideas is about that intersection between Dungeons and Dragons and life.
As we've said before, Dungeons & Dragons is a tool that Ben and I genuinely use to make sense of our lives.
It's more fun, at least for us, to view our thoughts as casting spells, life as an adventure, and chance as a d20 that's ever rattling around.
It's like Thomas More says, slight shifts in imagination can have more impact on living than major efforts at change.
Slight shifts in imagination, like framing the things we go through in terms of the game we love. It's helped us, and maybe it'll help you too.
So today we're going to be talking about rounds, actions, and the way we micromanage ourselves. Kobolds don't normally get legendary actions. But then again, kobolds aren't normally this cute.
I mean, just look at this guy. Got a little wand and a fireball. He's just so darn cute in his cape. Don't you want to take him home so he can be your forever friend?
Well, lucky for you, you can.
I'm the Red Wizard, but if we raise enough money, we can meet all my friends.
Back the Gallant Goblin Kickstarter and take him and all of his friends home today.
Banana for scale.
Mapping out the concept of rounds and actions onto real life isn't exactly perfect.
Ben's right. As you'll see, we've tweaked some things in the metaphor.
As I'm guessing many of you know, a round in Dungeons & Dragons consists of 6 seconds.
In those 6 seconds, your character has the opportunity to move, act, bonus act, and potentially, when conditions are right, react.
A round in-game represents a single slice of the present. It's a measurement of right now.
And in that right now, each player and enemy can move, act, react, etc.
It's an easy-peasy way to structure combat for a game of Dungeons & Dragons.
And it's a useful construct to use to think about life.
Before looking at the similarities between Dungeons & Dragons and life, we're going to spend a few rounds on the differences.
More than a few, my good man.
Oh boy. As we said, in-game, a round, a slice of right now, is 6 seconds long.
However, scientists have determined the length of right now in real life to be closer to 2.5 to 3 seconds.
What we think of as the present moment is the 3-second slice of time that we're immediately in.
Mindfulness, or being present, is the practice of giving your full attention to that 3-second chunk of time you're in, and then doing it again and again.
3 seconds isn't that long. Now, this disparity on the length of now between what happens in Dungeons & Dragons and what happens in real life makes a difference.
For starters, moving 30 feet and making an attack, let alone many attacks, casting a spell, and taking a bonus action, that's a lot to do in 6 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm no ninja, but I promise you, moving 30 feet and throwing 2 punches, that'd probably take me like 30 seconds.
Yeah, which is why it's far more useful when thinking about real life to combine movement and action.
You are not a D&D character, sorry to say. Moving and acting in the same round isn't something that you can do.
Nope. We, in the real world, must settle for being able to do one or the other.
Now we're talking about 3 seconds here. Let's use the example of washing dishes.
First round, I could use my action to move to the sink and possibly turn on the water.
The next round would be squirting some soap on the sponge and getting a lather.
Next round, scrubbing.
Depending on what you're scrubbing, if they're stubborn, stuck on grease, it might take a good 5 to 10 rounds to get it grime-free.
Then another round to get your dish into the drying rack, or a few to towel it off.
So fresh and so clean.
So a simple task like washing dishes could take 20 rounds.
20 rounds! Movement plus action in-game becomes doing a thing with your body out of game.
It could be movement. It could be action. It's probably not both.
So far, so good? Great, because here's where the magic and fun really start.
When it comes to bonus actions, something else you get to do every 2.5 to 3 seconds in real life, What do you think we're gonna say?
We'll give you a round to think about it. 1 Dungeon Dragon, 2 Dungeon Dragon, 3 Dungeon Dragon. Your thoughts?
Every round of your life, provided you're not asleep, you have the opportunity to use your bonus action to cast a spell.
I.e., every 3 seconds, you have the power to point your mind and your thoughts in a specific direction.
Most of us have racing minds. It's thought after thought after thought, spell after spell after spell, until we take a long rest.
Now, I don't know about you, but I hear my thoughts. My thoughts come in words.
Same, absolutely. Though I've heard a story that Jimi Hendrix used to think in colors. Shines a whole new light on Axis Bold as Love.
It's essentially verbal versus material components. Musical virtuosos aside, there's a good chance the way you understand your thoughts is also through words.
This script sucks. What am I doing with my life? What's wrong with me? Oh, way to go, Max. You really fucked it up this time.
Jeez, dude, that's your internal monologue? That is a little dark, bro.
Not always. Sometimes it's, this will be the one that puts us on the map. You're doing it, Watley!
Those are much more empowering and, dare I say, good feeling than the other set of thoughts in Max's mind.
Some could say my first bit of self-talk was mean, vicious in fact, and rather mocking.
Some could also say the second set of words in Max's mind were nice and warm, soothing, even healing.
Every round you are alive, you have the ability to use your bonus action to cast a spell.
You can choose to cast Vicious Mockery, or you can choose to cast Healing Words.
The dark, sinister thoughts that bring you down, the things that you say to yourself that you'd never dream of saying to anyone else, that's casting Vicious Mockery on yourself.
That is you, choosing to use your bonus action for that round to cast a spell to inflict psychic damage on yourself.
The tone you use when you talk to yourself matters too. It's not just what you say, it's also how you say it.
Chances are, whatever horrible thing you said to yourself as part of your Vicious Mockery spell could have been expressed a little differently.
You could have chosen to use your bonus action to cast Healing Words instead.
The spell you choose to cast with your bonus action each round is how you micromanage yourself.
Micromanaging, in case you forgot, is a burnout trigger. It leads to levels of exhaustion.
Casting Vicious Mockery with your bonus action leads to burnout, overwhelm, and levels of exhaustion.
Now, if you're thinking, hey, that's not fair, I didn't choose my thoughts, they were just my reaction.
Reaction, you say. Did you mention reactions, Max?
In Dungeons & Dragons, reactions aren't that frequent.
No, I mean, opportunity attacks happen, of course, but not that often. And sure, some classes and builds gain more than one way to use that reaction.
In real life, reactions happen all the damn time.
Basically, anytime you see, hear, taste, feel, smell, or otherwise take in any bit of information, we have a response.
Thoughts popping into our head, or an instinctive physical response to a stimulus. These are reactions.
Reactions can be good, bad, mean, funny, indifferent, irreverent, whatever.
And they are how real-life rounds begin. Something happens, you have 3 seconds.
Your first thought, in whatever tone of voice, or with whatever words or instinctive physical response you have, is your reaction.
After you use your reaction, whatever it was, you have the opportunity to use your bonus action to cast a spell.
You can choose to think something kind and say it in a loving tone of voice.
Or you can choose to think something hurtful and say it in the most cutting way possible.
After you've used your bonus action, you then have an action. You get to do a thing with your body.
That thing can be many different things, including, but not limited to, moving.
That's the structure of your average real-life 3-second round. Now, let's play through a scenario.
You're in the bathroom. It's morning. It's time to take a shower. It's round 1. You've got 3 seconds.
I use my action to pull open the curtain, turn on the water, and step inside.
It's ice cold. You live in an old building. It appears your neighbors may have used all the hot water.
I use my reaction to jump back, shrieking, "Ah!"
You stumble back, hopping between your left foot and your right. You're able to avoid the worst of it. How would you like to use your bonus action?
Okay, I can still cast a spell. Let's see. I cast Vicious Mockery. Fuck my life, fuck this building, fuck my job. You're cool, rubber ducky. You've always been good to me. Fuck my neighbors. I'm out.
The cutting words of your Vicious Mockery explode out. They echo and bounce, amplified by the acoustics of the room. Unfortunately, The emotionless walls of your shower don't seem affected. Having no other target, they rebound on you next round.
Wait, what, my spell reflected back at me? For real? That's dumb.
Reeling in a daze, not thinking straight on account of the surprise self-inflicted psychic damage last round, your reaction is full of residual venom. Another point of psychic damage.
What? No, that's not how this works. Come on, man.
Time's running out. It's almost the next round. You've got a bonus action you can still use and a thing you can do with your body.
Okay. For my action, I reach through the cold spray of water, grab the knob, and crank the hot water. I use my bonus action to cast Healing Word.
You skirt around the side of the spray and strike like a serpent. This is your shower. You know exactly where the knob needs to be. You laugh to yourself and give yourself the what's up nod. Admiring your dexterity, you feel better.
Yes, nailed it.
The water warms to the perfect temperature. It appears the neighbors didn't use all the hot water after all. Your shower is life-giving and rejuvenating. You feel great.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Do you see what we're getting at here?
Like we said, rounds and actions might not perfectly map onto life, but they are useful ideas.
In D&D, it becomes your turn. You get to do your things, then the other people get to do theirs, and the whole cycle takes 6 seconds.
In real life, it's always your turn, and that cycle repeats every 3 seconds.
In D&D, you get to do 2 different things with your body, move and act.
In real life, since we're talking about 2.5 to 3 second increments, it's more like you get to do one or the other.
D&D, some characters don't have as much they can do with their bonus action, therefore don't use them.
Real life, you can always use your bonus action to cast a spell.
In D&D, reactions aren't triggered all that often.
In real life, they're triggered all the time.
Keep in mind, at no point have Ben and I said using your bonus action to be intentional about the spells you cast and taking control of your mind is easy.
Oh, hell no. It's hard as the 9 hells.
Powerful and mighty is the human mind. It builds or destroys.
And, better or worse yet, depending, neural pathways are real.
The thoughts you're used to thinking will be and are the ones that are easiest to think because of the way brains work. It's a feature, not a bug.
Which means, if you've spent most of your life using your bonus action to cast Vicious Mockery, then don't expect to change to Healing Words overnight.
No, it's going to be a process, and most likely a slow one.
But as you saw from our scenario, the effects of the Vicious Mockery or Healing Word lingers.
The spell you cast on your bonus action quite literally sets the tone for your next reaction.
Which is actually pretty fortunate. You see, I'm not good at using my bonus action to cast Healing Words. It's not something I've practiced a lot. I'm more of a Vicious Mockery kind of guy.
But because the tone of your spell lingers, it means your next reaction can clue you into what your previous bonus action was.
So, if you catch yourself having a shitty reaction, it probably means you've been casting Vicious Mockery a lot lately.
And once you realize this, you can choose to cast Healing Words instead.
If you find that being kind to yourself and casting Healing Word is a bit of a struggle, use puppy talk rules.
Puppy talk rules means talking to yourself in the tone of voice you use for something cute and adorable that you love.
Like, say, a puppy, or a kitten, or a baby, or whatever that might be for you.
Another spell optimization tip: getting down on yourself for accidentally casting Vicious Mockery is you using your bonus action to cast it again the next round.
But it's okay. No matter how deep down a Vicious Mockery hole you find yourself, it will be the next round eventually when you do. Because remember, real life rounds are only 3 seconds long.
Which means, provided you're awake for 16 hours, that's over 19,000 chances each day to cast Healing Words.
And there's always tomorrow. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us today.
We really do appreciate it.
Just like we'd appreciate a comment or a thumbs up or a healing word if we've added some value to your day.
Is there a D&D idea you'd like us to talk about? Cast sending.
Our email address lurks in the Underdark.
If this kind of thing is your jam, subscribe, tell a friend. To everyone who does and has, thank you. You are how we level up.
Dispel that glyph of warding around your notification bell.
PeakD&D, Dungeons & Dragons videos on Saturdays.
Until next time, keep on climbing until you reach your peak. That was very news anchoring. Are you good with your bonus actions? Tonight at 10.
Want to get better?
I'm Ben,
I'm Max.
and this is D&D Ideas.
D&D Ideas. In those 6 acts.
Right? But it's okay. No matter how deep down into a vicious mockery hole you find yourself go, coming back to the Shire, and I was dragged back into Mordor. Well, Merziker. Sorry.
So a temple task. So a
Sorry, Tony.
sorry, Tony.